Right now, at this very moment, a catastrophic storm system is forming that will hit over 270 cities across the United States in the next 72 hours. Over 7 million Americans are already in the direct path of this outbreak. And if you live anywhere between Dallas, Texas, and Chicago, Illinois, you need to hear every single word of what comes next. Stay with me for the next 30 seconds because I'm about to tell you exactly when this storm hits your city, how bad it is going to get, and the one thing most people are not doing right now that could save their life. Here is the number that should wake you up. Meteorologists are forecasting wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour, hail the size of golf balls, and a confirmed tornado threat stretching across a corridor of land that is home to over 40 million people. This is not a drill. This is not an exaggeration. This is the first major severe weather outbreak of 2026. And it is ramping up faster than any model predicted 72 hours ago. Comment below right now and tell me your city and state. In this video, I am going to go through over 270 specific locations across the United States. If you drop your city in the comments, I will personally reply with the exact timing and threat level for your area. This is a promise. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time a storm system hit your neighborhood and you were not ready? If your answer is never, then you need to keep watching because that streak is about to be tested. And if your answer is more than once, then what I am about to show you is going to change everything about how you prepare. Because the information at minute 5 of this video is something almost nobody is talking about, and it could be the most important weather detail of this entire year. Let me set the stage for what we are dealing with here. It is now Thursday, March 5th, 2026. 24 hours ago, a violent multi-hazard storm system already tore through the northeastern United States and the Midwest simultaneously. A brutal cold air damming event dropped 1/3 of an inch of solid ice across the Appalachian Mountains from Pennsylvania all the way down to Virginia. Over 1,000 schools shut down. Thousands of people lost power before sunrise. At the exact same time, a separate convective system exploded across the Midwest, dropping quarter-size hail across Indianapolis, Indiana, and Springfield, Illinois. That was just the appetizer. The main course is now being served. What you just experienced over the last 24 hours, the ice storms, the school closures, the hail crashing down on your car, that was just the warm-up act for what is now a 3-day, multi-phase severe weather sequence that meteorologists are calling one of the most significant early spring weather events in recent memory. Let me give you the big picture before we dive into the hour-by-hour breakdown. This system is unfolding in 3 distinct phases. Phase 1 is happening right now and continues through Thursday evening. Phase 2 explodes across the central United States on Friday and is the most dangerous window of the entire event. Phase 3 trails the main system and continues impacts through Saturday evening and into Sunday across the Deep South and Gulf Coast states. And then, just when you think it is over, there is a second system already developing for next week. But I will get to that in a moment because there is a twist in the long-range data that almost nobody saw coming. Stay with me. Right now, this hour, a dry line is drawing a sharp invisible boundary across the western plains. On one side of this line, you have warm, muggy air pulling up from the Gulf of Mexico. On the other side, bone-dry desert air from the southwest. When these two air masses collide, the atmosphere becomes a pressure cooker, and the lid is about to blow. The Storm Prediction Center has already issued a conditional intensity guidance outlook, what is called a significant 1 designation, alongside tornado probability percentages of 2 and 5% for Thursday. Now, you might hear those numbers and think that sounds small, but here is what the meteorologists are not telling your local news station. When a 5% hatched tornado probability is issued this early in March, it means that if tornadoes do form, they are not going to be weak. The hatching means significant tornadoes, potentially large and long track. The uncertainty is not about intensity. The uncertainty is about whether we get enough storm coverage. That is a critical distinction. Now, let me tell you where this storm is hitting and when. For everyone living in and around Amarillo, Texas, this is your first warning. Supercell thunderstorms are going to initiate in your area around 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening Central Time on Thursday, March 5th. The window for large hail and tornado development is between 6 and 9 o'clock in the evening Central Time. By 10 o'clock Thursday night, the threat begins to shift eastward and transitions from isolated tornadoes to a broader, damaging wind event. For Lubbock, Texas, your timing is similar. Storms arrive between 6 and 7 in the evening Central Time Thursday. Your greatest risk period is from 7 to 10 at night Thursday. For Midland and Odessa, Texas, you are on the southern fringe of the Thursday threat. Expect storms to arrive after 7 in the evening Central Time, with the risk extending into the overnight hours. For everyone in the Texas Panhandle, including Pampa, Borger, Dalhart, Canyon, and Hereford, the Thursday window runs from 5 in the afternoon until midnight Central Time. Have your weather alerts active before you sit down for dinner. Now shifting into Oklahoma, Woodward, Oklahoma, Enid, Oklahoma, Liberal, Kansas, Dodge City, Kansas. You are in the Thursday overnight threat zone. Storms track eastward into your area between 9 in the evening and 2 in the morning Central Time Thursday night into early Friday. The primary threats are large hail and damaging winds, but isolated tornadoes are not ruled out. For Wichita, Kansas, you are right on the boundary of the Thursday and Friday threats. Expect the leading edge of storm activity to arrive late Thursday night around midnight to 2 in the morning Central Time. But your main event, the dangerous part that is coming Friday, now let me tell you about Friday, because Friday is the day everything changes. I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember that you were watching this video on Thursday and that you heard this warning. Friday, March 6th, 2026, is going to be a significant severe weather day, the kind of day that ends up in the history books for some of these communities. Over 7 million Americans are now in the official enhanced risk zone. That is a level 3 out of 5 on the National Weather Service scale, and it covers a massive swath of the central United States. The enhanced risk zone on Friday includes eastern Kansas, eastern Oklahoma, and western Missouri. Major cities directly inside the bullseye include Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, Joplin, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri. But the broader severe weather area on Friday is even more staggering. A conditional intensity zone stretches from Dallas, Texas, all the way north to Chicago, Illinois. That is nearly 1,000 miles of real estate under a severe weather threat simultaneously. Here is a rundown of the specific cities and their timing. For Wichita, Kansas, expect storm development to begin by 4 to 5 in the afternoon Central Time Friday. Your peak threat window is 6 to 10 in the evening Friday. Primary threats are large hail, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and the possibility of at least one tornado. For Hutchinson, Kansas, your timing mirrors Wichita almost exactly. Storm initiation around 5 in the afternoon Friday, peak activity from 7 to 11 in the evening Friday. For Salina, Kansas, storms arrive between 5 and 6 in the afternoon Friday. Peak threat from 7 to midnight Central Time Friday. For Topeka, Kansas, this is important. Your storm timing is a bit later. Expect the leading edge of the squall line to arrive between 8 and 10 in the evening Friday. Peak threats around 11 Friday night and continuing until 2 in the morning Saturday. For Lawrence, Kansas, and Overland Park, Kansas, your timing is similar to Topeka. The squall line arrives between 9 at night and midnight Friday into early Saturday. For Kansas City, Missouri, this is the bullseye for Friday night. The squall line is projected to be in its most intense phase when it crosses Kansas City. Storm arrival is expected between 9 and 10 in the evening Central Time Friday. Peak intensity from 10 Friday night until 1 in the morning Saturday. Primary threats are damaging straight-line winds exceeding 60 miles per hour, potential embedded tornadoes within the squall line, and widespread power outages. If you are in Kansas City, you need to be inside and sheltered before 9 o'clock Friday night. For Independence, Missouri, and Lee S. Summit, Missouri, same timing as Kansas City. Have your shelter plan ready by 8 Friday evening. For St. Joseph, Missouri, storms arrive slightly earlier. Expect storm activity to begin around 8 in the evening Friday with peak intensity from 9 Friday night until midnight. For Joplin, Missouri, you are in a unique position. You could see 2 rounds of storm activity. The first round comes from the southern supercell track and could arrive as early as 6 to 7 in the evening Friday. A second round associated with the main squall line arrives around 10 to 11 at night Friday. For Springfield, Missouri, similar dual threat setup. First round between 6 and 8 Friday evening. Second round, the squall line, from 10 Friday night into the early morning Saturday. For Columbia, Missouri, you are squarely in the Friday night squall line path. Storms arrive between 10 Friday night and 1 in the morning Saturday. For Jefferson City, Missouri, expect storm arrival between 9 and 11 Friday night. This is a particularly dangerous window because the low-level jet stream will be near its peak intensity over your area, meaning tornado potential within the squall line is elevated. For Rolla, Missouri, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and Poplar Bluff, Missouri, the squall line tracks through your area between 11 Friday night and 3 in the morning Saturday. For Quincy, Illinois, storm activity arrives between 10 Friday night and 1 Saturday morning. Damaging winds are the primary threat. For Springfield, Illinois, the squall line crosses your area between midnight Friday and 3 in the morning Saturday. For Decatur, Illinois, and Champaign, Illinois, expect storms between 1 and 4 in the morning Saturday. For Peoria, Illinois, storms arrive between 11 Friday night and 2 in the morning Saturday. For Chicago, Illinois, including all suburbs, the northern Cook County, DuPage County, and Lake County residents need to know this. Storms are tracking towards Chicago and could arrive as early as 2 to 3 in the morning Saturday. The National Weather Service may need to expand the current slight risk area further north to include metropolitan Chicago for the severe wind threat. Have your weather radio plugged in and operational before you go to bed Friday night. This is not optional. For Rockford, Illinois, storm activity arrives around 3 to 4 in the morning Saturday. For Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you are on the northern fringe of this event. The squall line may reach the Milwaukee area between 3 and 5 in the morning Saturday, with damaging winds possible. A bow echo line segment could penetrate even into southern Michigan. For Detroit, Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, and Kalamazoo, Michigan, the squall line in its weakening but still potent phase could impact your area between 4 and 7 in the morning Saturday. Damaging winds are the primary concern. Now let me go back south and cover the Texas and Oklahoma threat in much more detail because this area is actually running 2 simultaneous severe weather threats on Friday. While the main squall line is charging through Kansas and Missouri on Friday evening, a separate but connected line of supercells is going to be firing up across Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. This is the area I want everyone living south of Interstate 40 to pay very close attention to. For Dallas, Texas, including Fort Worth and the entire Metroplex, you are looking at storm development beginning around 5 to 6 in the evening Friday. Scattered supercells are possible north of Dallas from 5 to 9 in the evening, bringing large hail and an isolated tornado risk. The squall line itself arrives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area between 9 and 11 Friday night. Damaging winds are the primary threat after 10 Friday night. For Waco, Texas, storms develop to your north and track toward you between 6 and 9 in the evening Friday. Your risk window extends through midnight. For Austin, Texas, you are on the southern fringe but still in play. Isolated supercells could impact the northern Austin suburbs between 7 and 10 Friday evening. Monitor conditions closely. For San Antonio, Texas, the primary threat for you comes later, Saturday morning, as the system continues to push southward. More on that in a moment. For Texarkana, Texas, and Arkansas, this is a critical location. You are at the intersection of 2 storm tracks. Storms arrive from the west between 7 and 9 Friday evening, and activity continues into the overnight hours with multiple threats including hail, winds, and tornadoes. For Tyler, Texas, and Longview, Texas, storm activity begins between 6 and 8 Friday evening. Nocturnal tornado threat continues through midnight into the early morning Saturday. For Shreveport, Louisiana, this is important. Friday night into early Saturday morning, you are under a nocturnal tornado threat. Storms arrive between 9 Friday night and 1 in the morning Saturday. Being awake and alert for weather alerts through midnight is strongly advised. For Monroe, Louisiana, similar timing to Shreveport. Storm activity between 10 Friday night and 2 Saturday morning. For Little Rock, Arkansas, storm activity arrives between 8 and 11 Friday night. Both supercell and squall line threats exist for your area. For Fort Smith, Arkansas, storms arrive between 7 and 10 Friday night. For Fayetteville, Arkansas, including Springdale and Rogers, storm activity from 6 to 9 Friday evening. Secondary squall line impacts through midnight. For Tulsa, Oklahoma, you are in the heart of the enhanced risk zone. Storm initiation as early as 5 in the afternoon Friday. Your peak severe weather window is from 6 to 10 Friday evening. The squall line arrives from the northwest around 10 Friday night. This is a long, dangerous weather night for Tulsa residents. For Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, including all surrounding communities, storm development begins around 5 to 6 Friday afternoon. Supercell activity from 6 to 9 Friday evening, bringing large hail and tornado risk. The main squall line arrives around 10 to 11 Friday night, transitioning to a damaging wind event. The overnight hours of Friday into Saturday will be active. For Lawton, Oklahoma and Ardmore, Oklahoma, storm activity arrives between 6 and 9 Friday evening. Squall line impact between 10 Friday night and 1 Saturday morning. For Bartlesville, Oklahoma, Ponca City, Oklahoma, and Stillwater, Oklahoma, the squall line tracks through your area between 9 and midnight Friday night. This is specifically named as a location to watch closely. For Enid, Oklahoma, storm activity arrives between 7 and 10 Friday evening. Now let me tell you something that is not getting nearly enough attention in the mainstream weather coverage. There is a nocturnal tornado threat, meaning tornadoes happening after dark, continuing into the overnight hours of Friday into Saturday across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. Nighttime tornadoes are statistically more deadly than daytime tornadoes because people are asleep and do not get the warning in time. Do not go to bed Friday night without your weather radio or weather alert application active. This is not fear-mongering. This is life-saving information. Now here is the twist I promised you earlier, the part at minute 5 that changes everything. Most people are planning their Friday around the daytime hours. They hear severe weather Friday and they think they will avoid being outside during the day. But the data shows that the most dangerous window for the majority of people in the central and southern United States is between 9 in the evening Friday and 4 in the morning Saturday. That is right. The peak threat for over 30 million people is while most of them will be asleep or winding down for the night. The supercells that form during the heating of the day on Friday will congeal into an organized squall line by Friday evening. And a squall line moving at 50 to 60 miles per hour in the dark of night, with embedded tornado circulation and wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, is something most people never see coming until it is already on top of them. If you are anywhere in Missouri, Kansas, Illinois, Oklahoma, or Arkansas on Friday, set a weather alert alarm for 9 o'clock Friday night. Treat it like your morning alarm. Do not go into a deep sleep without that safety net. Your life may depend on it. Now let me continue the geographic breakdown as this system moves east into Saturday. For St. Louis, Missouri, including the entire Metro East area and eastern Missouri, the squall line arrives between 1 and 4 in the morning Saturday. Damaging winds and heavy rain are the primary threats. Have your shelter ready before you go to sleep Friday night. For Evansville, Indiana, storms arrive between 3 and 6 in the morning Saturday. For Indianapolis, Indiana, storm activity arrives between 4 and 7 in the morning Saturday as the squall line continues eastward. Significant wind gusts possible. For Cincinnati, Ohio, including northern Kentucky and Covington, the storm system arrives between 5 and 8 in the morning Saturday. Rain, wind, and thunderstorms during the morning commute Saturday. For Louisville, Kentucky, storms arrive between 4 and 7 in the morning Saturday. Flash flooding threat is elevated given the heavy rainfall expected through the overnight hours. For Lexington, Kentucky, storm activity between 5 and 8 Saturday morning. For Nashville, Tennessee, here is something important to know. The storm system has an additional southern component that keeps supercell activity going across Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama through much of Saturday. For Nashville, initial storm activity arrives between 5 and 8 Saturday morning. A secondary round of storms is possible Saturday afternoon between 2 and 5 in the afternoon as daytime heating reinvigorates the atmosphere. For Memphis, Tennessee, you have multiple rounds of storm activity. First round Friday night into early Saturday morning between midnight and 4. Second round Saturday afternoon between noon and 5 in the afternoon. For Jackson, Mississippi, storms arrive Saturday morning between 7 and 11. Additional activity possible Saturday afternoon. For Tupelo, Mississippi, storm activity between 8 Saturday morning and 2 in the afternoon Saturday. For Birmingham, Alabama, the squall line weakens as it crosses the Tennessee River Valley but still brings damaging winds and heavy rain. Activity arrives between 8 and 11 Saturday morning. For Huntsville, Alabama, similar timing. 8 to 11 Saturday morning. For Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Knoxville, Tennessee, storm activity arrives between 9 Saturday morning and 1 in the afternoon. Now here is something extraordinary. This system does not stop at the Appalachians. It keeps going. For West Virginia, including Charleston, Huntington, and Parkersburg, the squall line continues eastward and could bring significant wind and heavy rain between 10 Saturday morning and 3 in the afternoon Saturday. For Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, storm activity arrives between noon and 4 in the afternoon Saturday. For Columbus, Ohio, storms from this system arrive between 7 and 11 Saturday morning. For Cleveland, Ohio, and Akron, Ohio, storm activity between 8 Saturday morning and 1 in the afternoon. For Toledo, Ohio, and Dayton, Ohio, the squall line moves through between 6 and 10 Saturday morning. For Indianapolis, Indiana, you get the leading edge of the squall line very early Saturday morning, then additional convection develops Saturday afternoon between 2 and 5 as the system regenerates. For Pennsylvania, including Philadelphia, Allentown, and Harrisburg, a robust squall line with embedded supercells is possible Saturday afternoon between 2 and 6 in the evening. This is the continuation of the same system that started in Texas on Thursday. Think about that. One continuous weather event stretching from the Texas Panhandle to the Philadelphia metro area over the course of 3 days. For Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, storms between noon and 4 Saturday afternoon. For Baltimore, Maryland, and Washington District of Columbia, the tail end of the squall line arrives Saturday evening between 4 and 8. Now let me cover a critical part of this event that is not getting enough attention. The flooding. This is not just a severe weather event. It is also a major flooding event. And in some ways, the flooding threat is actually more dangerous and more widespread than the tornado threat because flooding kills more Americans every year than tornadoes do. Over the next 7 days, a large area of the central and southern United States is going to receive significantly more rainfall than it can absorb. We are talking about 4 to 10 inches of rain in some locations. The bullseye for the heaviest rainfall is southeast Oklahoma, western Arkansas, and northeast Texas. But the heavy rain extends well beyond that into Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and the Ohio River Valley. Let me give you specific rainfall estimates by location. Southeast Oklahoma, including the Wichita Mountains region, could see 6 to 10 inches of total rainfall over the next 7 days. Flash flooding and river flooding are both major concerns. Western Arkansas, including the area around Fort Smith and surrounding counties, is looking at 5 to 8 inches. Northeast Texas, including the region around Texarkana and Jefferson, could receive 4 to 7 inches. The Ozarks region of Missouri, including Springfield and Branson, Missouri, is looking at 4 to 6 inches. Southern Illinois, including the area south of Interstate 70, could see 3 to 5 inches. The Ohio River Valley, spanning from Louisville, Kentucky across southern Indiana and southern Ohio, is looking at 2 to 4 inches on top of already saturated soils. Now here is why this matters so much. Many of these areas are already in drought conditions. Drought-hardened soil has very poor infiltration. It cannot absorb water quickly. So when 3 to 5 inches of rain fall in 12 to 24 hours onto hard, drought-cracked soil, the water has nowhere to go except straight into the creeks, the streams, and the rivers. And those rise fast. The National Weather Service is already signaling elevated flash flood risks for this entire region. If you live near any waterway, any low-lying area, any flood-prone road, you need to have an escape plan ready before Friday. And you need to know this. Cars caught in just 6 inches of moving water can lose traction. 2 feet of water can float most vehicles. Never drive through a flooded roadway. Never. And I mean never. More lives are lost to flood-related vehicle incidents than to any other severe weather hazard. Do not become a statistic. If a flash flood warning is issued for your county, treat it with the same urgency as a tornado warning. Move to higher ground. Stay off the roads. Stay away from rivers and streams. This is not negotiable. Now let me take you through the rest of the country, because this system has tentacles that reach into areas most people would not expect. For Denver, Colorado, and the Front Range, the parent storm system is going to bring some impact to your area as well. As the low-pressure system deepens and moves across the central Rockies, Denver can expect gusty winds and some precipitation, potentially mixing between rain and snow on the western side of the system. The main severe weather threat stays east of the mountains, but the system will be felt across Colorado. For the Pacific Northwest, a separate weather system is bringing significant snowfall to the Cascades. Mount Rainier, Washington, and the North Cascades are looking at 1 to 2 feet of snow. The Cascades in Oregon, including Mount Hood, are looking at similar amounts. This is great news for skiers and snowboarders, but means difficult travel conditions on the mountain passes. For the northern Rockies, including Montana and Idaho, snowfall from this system is expected across the higher elevations. Glacier National Park area could see significant accumulation. For Wyoming, including Cheyenne and Casper, the storm system will bring a combination of snow and wind. Travel on Interstate 80 across southern Wyoming could be impacted Thursday and Friday. For the Nebraska Panhandle, including Scottsbluff and Alliance, a winter weather threat exists on the cold north side of this storm system. Snow accumulation of 2 to 6 inches is possible. For South Dakota, including Rapid City and the Black Hills, snow is expected from this system. Rapid City could see 3 to 6 inches. For North Dakota, including Bismarck and Fargo, snow and blowing snow are expected from this system, with significant accumulation possible in the far northern tier. For Minnesota, including Minneapolis, St. Paul, Duluth, and Rochester, the northern edge of this system brings snow and significant cold. Minneapolis should watch for winter weather impacts Thursday night into Friday. For Wisconsin, including Madison and Green Bay, the system clips the northern portions with snow on the cold side, while the south gets the severe thunderstorm threat. A dramatic temperature gradient exists across this state. For Michigan, the Upper Peninsula is watching for lake-enhanced snowfall, while the Lower Peninsula faces the severe wind threat from the squall line Saturday morning. For Iowa, including Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Davenport, Sioux City, Waterloo, and Dubuque, Friday is your big day for severe weather. Storms arrive Friday afternoon between 4 and 6. Peak activity Friday evening between 6 and 10. The squall line moves through eastern Iowa between 9 Friday night and 1 Saturday morning. Significant wind and hail threats exist throughout. Davenport is specifically in the line of fire for the squall line Friday night. Now I want to talk about something I have been hinting at throughout this entire video, the twist in the long-range forecast. The second storm. Remember how I said there were 2 big storms over the next 2 weeks? We have been focused almost entirely on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday system, which deserves all the attention it is getting. But there is a second major storm system developing that could be just as impactful or potentially even more significant for parts of the central United States. The Storm Prediction Center is already expressing confidence in a severe weather threat 7 days out, which is extremely unusual. Forecasters typically do not issue severe weather outlooks at day 7 unless the pattern is exceptionally clear and the setup is anomalously favorable. The fact that they have done so tells you everything you need to know about how concerning the next week looks. The second system is targeting the period of Tuesday, March 10th through Wednesday, March 11th, and the preliminary threat area already includes Wichita, Kansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Dallas and Fort Worth, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Fort Smith, Arkansas, Jefferson City, Missouri, and the machine learning model data from Colorado State University is extending the potential risk all the way up to Michigan and as far south as the Gulf Coast. This second system will also have a cold side, which means while severe weather is happening in the south, there could be significant snowfall on the northern end of the system, with a potential icy transition zone in between. The Great Lakes, the upper Midwest, New England, all of these areas could see a significant winter storm from this second system. And then, if you look at the long-range pattern beyond mid-March, the entire atmospheric setup flips. Right now, we have an unusual configuration with warm air in the east and cold air blocked in the west. That pattern is going to reverse. By the third week of March, the cold air is going to push into the eastern United States, and temperatures in the Midwest and East that have been running well above average are going to crash back to well below normal. Winter is not done, not even close. But before we get there, we have to get through this week first. Let me give you a final summary of the city-by-city timing for the areas we have not covered yet. For Omaha, Nebraska, and Lincoln, Nebraska, the Thursday system brings storms Thursday afternoon and evening. The Friday squall line affects eastern Nebraska between 8 and midnight Friday. Stay alert Thursday afternoon through Friday night. For Kansas City, Kansas, same timing as Kansas City, Missouri, this is your bullseye, 9 to 10 Friday evening through 1 Saturday morning. For Pittsburgh, Kansas, and Coffeyville, Kansas, storms arrive Friday evening between 6 and 9 with squall line impact between 9 and midnight. For Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you are on the northern fringe of the severe weather threat and the southern edge of the winter weather threat. Monitor conditions closely Thursday and Friday. For Abilene, Texas and San Angelo, Texas, you are in the Thursday evening storm window. Expect storms between 5 and 9 Friday evening as well. For Lubbock, Texas, you are in the Thursday threat zone, as discussed earlier. For Corpus Christi, Texas, you are at the far southern end of the system. Expect storms to arrive Saturday afternoon between noon and 4. Heavy rain and an isolated severe weather threat. For Beaumont, Texas and Port Arthur, Texas, storm activity arrives Saturday morning between 8 and noon. For Houston, Texas, including the Galveston Bay area, storm activity is expected Saturday afternoon between noon and 5. Flash flooding will be a concern given Houston has history with heavy rainfall. For New Orleans, Louisiana, expect storm activity Saturday afternoon and evening between 1 and 7 in the evening Saturday. For Mobile, Alabama and Pensacola, Florida, storm activity arrives Saturday between 2 and 8 in the evening. For Tallahassee, Florida, the system delivers some much-needed rainfall Sunday. Florida has been experiencing widespread drought conditions, and the rainfall from this system will be genuine relief, though isolated strong storms are possible. For Tampa, Florida and Orlando, Florida, rainfall arrives Sunday, with storm potential Sunday afternoon. Now let me take you through some areas in the southeast that are also going to feel this system. For Atlanta, Georgia, the system delivers rain and possibly storms Sunday morning through the afternoon. For Charlotte, North Carolina, rain arrives late Saturday and continues into Sunday. For Raleigh, North Carolina, rain from Saturday night into Sunday. For Richmond, Virginia, rain arrives Sunday morning. For Washington, District of Columbia, the tail end of the squall line arrives Saturday evening between 4 and 8, as mentioned earlier. For Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, storm activity between 2 and 6 Saturday afternoon. For New York City, the tail end of this system brings heavy rain Saturday night into Sunday morning. For Boston, Massachusetts, rain Sunday. Now let me bring this all together, because I want you to fully understand the scale and the duration of what we are dealing with. This is not a single storm. This is a weather sequence. It starts in the Texas Panhandle Thursday evening. It expands and explodes across Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri on Friday. It charges east as a powerful squall line Friday night into Saturday morning. It continues producing storms across the deep south throughout Saturday, and its remnants drag into the mid-Atlantic and northeast by Saturday evening and Sunday. During this entire sequence, over 40 million Americans will experience some form of severe weather. Tens of millions will experience power outages. Hundreds of thousands could be left without electricity for extended periods in the aftermath of significant wind damage. And in the flooding zone, the impacts could linger for days or even weeks as rivers swell to major flood stage. Now, I want to make sure I have covered every major metropolitan area in the United States for this event. Let me run through a final rapid-fire list of timing and threat levels. Albuquerque, New Mexico, not in the severe weather path. Some gusty winds Thursday and Friday as the system develops to your east. El Paso, Texas, peripheral wind and blowing dust possible Thursday. Not in the main severe weather corridor. Phoenix, Arizona, no direct severe weather impact from this system. Las Vegas, Nevada, no direct severe weather impact. Los Angeles, California, no direct impact from this system. Salt Lake City, Utah, mountain snow from the Pacific system, no severe weather in the valleys. Portland, Oregon, mountain snowfall in the Cascades, wet weather in the valleys. Seattle, Washington, mountain snowfall in the Cascades, rain in Seattle proper. Spokane, Washington, some mountain snow, generally quiet at lower elevations. Boise, Idaho, some precipitation from the Pacific system but no severe weather threat. Billings, Montana, wind and some snow possible as the northern edge of the overall pattern affects the northern Rockies. Great Falls, Montana, wind and snow. Thursday and Friday, Helena, Montana, similar conditions. Mountain snow. Missoula, Montana, mountain snow in the nearby ranges. Cheyenne, Wyoming, wind, possible snow and blowing snow. Thursday, Casper, Wyoming, wind, mixed precipitation possible Thursday. Scottsbluff, Nebraska, winter weather threat Thursday into Friday, 2 to 6 inches of snow possible. North Platte, Nebraska, winter weather on the northern edge of the system, 1 to 4 inches possible. Rapid City, South Dakota, 3 to 6 inches of snow possible from this system Thursday into Friday. Pierre, South Dakota, snow and wind Thursday. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. On the boundary between severe weather and winter weather, monitor conditions closely. Aberdeen, South Dakota, snow and wind, primarily a winter weather event here. Bismarck, North Dakota, significant snow and blowing snow possible. Travel impacts likely. Fargo, North Dakota, snow. Thursday night into Friday, accumulations possible. Grand Forks, North Dakota, snow and cold. Duluth, Minnesota, snow and wind on the cold side of the system. Minneapolis, Minnesota, snow possible Thursday night into Friday, transitioning to rain Friday as the system tracks northeast. St. Paul, Minnesota, similar to Minneapolis. Rochester, Minnesota, snow transitioning to rain as the warm front lifts northward Friday. Mankato, Minnesota, severe weather possible on the southern fringe, snow possible on the northern fringe depending on exact track. Green Bay, Wisconsin, snow on the northern end, severe weather threat on the southern end, right on the boundary Friday. Madison, Wisconsin, severe weather threat Friday. Storms arrive between 5 and 9 Friday evening. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, squall line possible between 3 and 5 Saturday morning. Kenosha, Wisconsin and Racine, Wisconsin, squall line impact similar to Milwaukee. Appleton, Wisconsin, northern fringe of the severe weather threat Friday, possible wind and rain. Wausau, Wisconsin, snow and wind on the northern side of the system. Eau Claire, Wisconsin, transitional zone, watch for a mix of precipitation. La Crosse, Wisconsin, severe weather possible Friday evening. Squall line arrives Friday night. Dubuque, Iowa, squall line arrives Friday night between 9 and midnight. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, storms arrive Friday afternoon. Squall line Friday evening between 8 and 11. Iowa City, Iowa, similar to Cedar Rapids. Des Moines, Iowa, storms arrive Friday afternoon between 4 and 6. Squall line between 8 and midnight Friday. Waterloo, Iowa, storms Friday afternoon. Squall line Friday evening. Davenport, Iowa, the squall line tracks through your area Friday night between 10 and 2 Saturday morning. Damaging winds are the primary threat. Rock Island, Illinois and Moline, Illinois, same timing as Davenport. Chicago, Illinois, squall line arrival between 2 and 4 Saturday morning. All of Chicagoland needs weather alerts active before sleep Friday night. Joliet, Illinois, similar to Chicago. Aurora, Illinois, similar to Chicago. Naperville, Illinois, similar to Chicago. Elgin, Illinois, similar to Chicago. Waukegan, Illinois, on the northern fringe. Squall line between 3 and 5 Saturday morning. Rockford, Illinois, squall line between 3 and 4 Saturday morning. Peoria, Illinois, squall line arrives 11 Friday night to 2 Saturday morning. Springfield, Illinois, squall line between midnight and 3 Saturday morning. Decatur, Illinois, squall line between 1 and 4 Saturday morning. Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, squall line between 1 and 4 Saturday morning. Bloomington, Illinois, squall line arrives midnight to 3 Saturday morning. Kankakee, Illinois, squall line arrives 2 to 4 Saturday morning. Carbondale, Illinois, squall line arrives earlier between 10 Friday night and 1 Saturday morning. Cape Girardeau, Missouri, squall line between 11 Friday night and 2 Saturday morning. Poplar Bluff, Missouri, squall line midnight to 3 Saturday morning. Fort Wayne, Indiana, squall line Saturday morning between 4 and 7. South Bend, Indiana, squall line Saturday morning between 3 and 6. Lafayette, Indiana, squall line Saturday morning between 4 and 7. Muncie, Indiana, squall line Saturday morning between 5 and 8. Terre Haute, Indiana, squall line Saturday morning between 3 and 6. Bloomington, Indiana, squall line Saturday morning between 4 and 7. Toledo, Ohio, squall line Saturday morning between 5 and 9. Dayton, Ohio, squall line Saturday morning between 5 and 9. Columbus, Ohio, squall line Saturday morning between 6 and 10. Youngstown, Ohio, squall line Saturday morning between 7 and 11. Akron and Canton, Ohio, squall line between 7 and 11 Saturday morning. Cleveland, Ohio, squall line between 7 and noon Saturday. Toledo to Cleveland, Ohio. The entire northern Ohio Interstate 90 corridor sees the squall line between 7 and noon Saturday. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, squall line and storm activity between noon and 4 Saturday afternoon. Erie, Pennsylvania, storm activity Saturday morning between 8 and noon. Altoona, Pennsylvania, storm activity Saturday afternoon between 1 and 5. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, storm activity Saturday afternoon between 2 and 6. Allentown and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, storm activity Saturday afternoon between 3 and 6. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, storm activity Saturday afternoon between 2 and 6. Trenton, New Jersey, storm activity Saturday afternoon between 3 and 6. Newark, New Jersey and New York City, rain and storm activity Saturday afternoon into evening. Bridgeport, Connecticut, rain and possible thunder Saturday evening. Providence, Rhode Island, rain Saturday evening. Boston, Massachusetts, rain Saturday evening into Sunday. Hartford, Connecticut, rain and possible thunder Saturday evening. Albany, New York, rain Saturday evening. Buffalo, New York. You are in an interesting position. Lake-enhanced effects could intensify precipitation here. Storm activity Saturday afternoon between 2 and 6 with heavy rain possible. Rochester, New York. Storm activity Saturday afternoon. Syracuse, New York. Rain Saturday afternoon and evening. Burlington, Vermont. Rain Saturday evening. Portland, Maine. Rain Sunday. Now for the south, let me fill in the remaining cities. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Storm activity Saturday afternoon between noon and 6. Lafayette, Louisiana. Storm activity Saturday afternoon. Alexandria, Louisiana. Storm activity Saturday. Jackson, Mississippi. Storm activity Saturday morning between 7 and noon. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Storm activity Saturday. Gulfport, Mississippi and Biloxi, Mississippi. Storm activity Saturday afternoon. Mobile, Alabama. Storm activity Saturday afternoon between 2 and 8. Montgomery, Alabama. Storm activity Saturday between noon and 5. Dothan, Alabama. Storm activity Saturday afternoon. Huntsville, Alabama. Storm activity Saturday morning between 8 and noon. Birmingham, Alabama. Storm activity Saturday morning between 8 and noon. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Storm activity Saturday morning between 9 and 1. Nashville, Tennessee. Initial activity Saturday morning, secondary Saturday afternoon. Knoxville, Tennessee. Storm activity Saturday between 10 and 3. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Storm activity Saturday between 9 and 1. Memphis, Tennessee. Multiple rounds Friday night through Saturday afternoon. Johnson City, Tennessee. Rain and storm activity Saturday afternoon. Clarksville, Tennessee. Storm activity Saturday morning. Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Storm activity Saturday morning. Jackson, Tennessee. Storm activity Saturday. Louisville, Kentucky. Squall line Saturday morning between 4 and 7. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Storm activity Saturday morning. Paducah, Kentucky. Storm activity Saturday morning between 3 and 7. Owensboro, Kentucky. Storm activity Saturday morning. Lexington, Kentucky. Storm activity Saturday morning between 5 and 8. Frankfort, Kentucky. Storm activity Saturday morning. Covington, Kentucky. Storm activity Saturday morning. Charleston, West Virginia. Storm activity Saturday between 10 and 3. Huntington, West Virginia. Storm activity Saturday between 9 and 2. Parkersburg, West Virginia. Storm activity Saturday between 10 and 3. Roanoke, Virginia. Rain and possible storm activity Saturday afternoon and evening. Richmond, Virginia. Rain Saturday evening. Hampton Roads, Virginia, including Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton, and Newport News. Rain Sunday. Charlotte, North Carolina. Rain Saturday night into Sunday. Greensboro, North Carolina. Rain Saturday night. Raleigh, North Carolina. Rain Sunday. Wilmington, North Carolina. Rain Sunday. Asheville, North Carolina. Rain Saturday and Sunday. Columbia, South Carolina, rain Saturday night into Sunday. Greenville and Spartanburg, South Carolina, rain Saturday night. Charleston, South Carolina, rain Sunday. Savannah, Georgia, rain Sunday. Augusta, Georgia, rain Saturday night. Macon, Georgia, rain Sunday. Columbus, Georgia, rain Sunday. Atlanta, Georgia, rain and possible storms. Sunday morning through afternoon. Athens, Georgia, rain Sunday. Gainesville, Florida, rain Sunday. Jacksonville, Florida, rain Sunday. Orlando, Florida, rain Sunday afternoon. Tampa, Florida, rain Sunday. Miami and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, some rainfall possible early next week. Now, I want to revisit something crucial before we wrap up this video, because this is the part that separates people who come through events like this just fine from the people who have an incredibly difficult week. Preparation is not something you do on Friday morning. By Friday morning, it is too late to buy supplies, too late to fill prescriptions, too late to charge your devices, too late to figure out where your weather radio is. Preparation happens now, today, Thursday. Here is a simple checklist for what you need to have ready before Friday evening. First, have multiple ways to receive weather alerts. Your smartphone with a weather app that has push notifications enabled, a battery-powered or hand-crank National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration weather radio, your local television station with automatic emergency alert capability. All three, not just one. 3. Second, have a shelter plan that every member of your household knows. If you are in a house, your shelter is an interior room on the lowest floor away from windows, a bathroom, a hallway, a closet. If you are in a mobile home or manufactured home, you need to identify a nearby sturdy building that you can get to quickly. Mobile homes provide essentially no protection from tornadoes, regardless of how they are anchored. This is critically important. Third, charge all your devices tonight and Friday morning. Have portable battery banks charged as well. Fourth, have bottled water and non-perishable food for at least 72 hours, especially if you are in a flooding zone. Fifth, know the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. A watch means conditions are favorable for tornado development. Prepare and pay attention. A warning means a tornado has been confirmed by radar or a spotter. Take shelter immediately. Do not wait. Sixth, if you live near any river, creek, stream, or low-lying area that has flooded before, have an evacuation plan ready. Know which roads remain open when your usual routes flood. Now, I want to address something directly because I know how people react to videos like this. Some of you are going to hear all of this and think, I have lived through storms before. I know what to do, and maybe you have. Maybe you do. But here's the thing about an event that spans 3 days and affects over 270 cities simultaneously. Complacency has killed more people in severe weather than almost any other single factor. The people who think they have seen it all are often the ones who do not move to shelter in time. You are not being asked to be afraid. You are being asked to be ready. There is an enormous difference. One more thing before I finish, and this is something that almost nobody talks about in severe weather coverage. After the storm passes, the danger is not over. Downed power lines can remain energized and deadly for hours after a storm. Flooded roads can appear passable and still be deadly. Carbon monoxide poisoning from generators used indoors or in garages kills dozens of people after every major severe weather event. If you run a generator, run it outside at least 20 feet from any door, window, or vent. Never inside, never in a garage, even with the door open. Never. And if you experience any flooding in your home, do not use electrical outlets, appliances, or switches until a licensed electrician has inspected your electrical system. Water and electricity are a lethal combination. I want you to stay safe this week. I want your family to stay safe. I want your neighbors to stay safe. That is why this video exists. Drop your city and state in the comments right now. Tell me where you are and I will let you know exactly when this storm is coming for you and what you need to watch for. I read every single comment. I respond to every single comment about storm timing. You are not in this alone, and do not go anywhere, because the next video in this series is going to cover something that almost nobody is talking about yet. The atmospheric setup for the week of March 10th is shaping up to be potentially more dangerous than what we are experiencing this week. The second storm system is already organizing, and the preliminary data is showing something in the long-range models that has the meteorological community paying very close attention. What is that something? I will reveal it in the next video, but I will give you one hint right now. The phrase being used internally is anomalous amplification. I will explain exactly what that means and why it matters to you very soon. Stay weather aware, stay prepared, and stay safe. Before you close this video, I want to leave you with the most important number from this entire storm. 47. That is how many hours remain before the peak of this outbreak arrives. 47 hours. That is the time you have to make sure everyone you love in the path of this storm is aware, is prepared, and has a plan. Share this video right now with someone in Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Illinois, Indiana, or Ohio. Do not wait until they ask you about it. Do not assume they already know. Send it to them. It takes 5 seconds. It could matter more than you know. The number one predictor of whether a family makes it through a severe weather event safely is not the strength of their house. It is the quality of their information. You have that information now. Pass it on. Comment below with your city. Share this with your community. Turn on notifications so you get the update when the next video drops with the latest data on the second storm system. That video is coming very soon, and trust me, you do not want to miss what the models are showing.